Alright folks, turn 78. We have hit blood magic up to level 6 in pursuit of Pedosian, who we will be summoning fairly shortly. We cast Akashic Knowledge 3 times, found 3 magic sites. Definitely not worth it, but I mean, I have the... definitely not worth it in terms of gems expended necessarily, but hell, I have the gems to spend, so why not? Foyan has, or Fuan, or whatever you pronounce his name as, has successfully empowered himself in air. So he is now Heir 2. He's going to quietly research for a moment. While we storm both Anor, Londo, and Morn. We're also moving some thugs to take these 3 provinces. Why did I think that province was unclaimed? I don't see anything about that province, actually. Okay, so, actually don't do that. We're just going to take these provinces here. So, Simaru here will be skill spamming and soul vortexing. Rejik and Yulok will be hitting this province, which we bounced a scout off last turn. We've put 1 point of province defense in each of these. I'm actually going to up that to 4, I think, which I should have the money for. We'll make it 5 in that one. And yeah, so we're going to take these 2 provinces and this province here and wipe the remnants of Anor Londo from the map. Bugsy Seagull will be time stop master enslaving down here. And up here in Morn, we're just storming the castle and casting regular enslave mind a lot. Riego is hopping up there to make sure that we have Light of the Northern Star active so that everyone can do that. Great. Also, Lausus is casting, or do we have somebody casting Light of the Northern Star? 1 second. Hold up. No, he's casting Will of the Fates. Got it. So he actually doesn't need all those gems for that, because he has 9. So we can give some to Stainabor, I think. And then Stainabor can cast Light of the Northern Star. Where is he? Where is Stainabor? Stainabor, this is the part of Dominions that kind of irritates me, is searching through all my many mages in the late game. So, you cast Light of the Northern Star. There you go. And then you can just stay here, storm this castle so everybody else can enslave. We've got Quellan there. Quellan will level up probably after this battle for participating in it. It should be a good time. Should be a real good time. I thought I saw somebody holding 2 skulls, which isn't really necessary. Yeah, but he doesn't, I guess I don't have anyone else to give them to, so Ilvatus might also level up. Padro has a few turns to go before he levels up to max level, but we're starting to max out on our Hollow Knights. I've got a level 3 Hollow Knight up there. I've got a level 3 Hollow Knight down here for Morik, who is not a hero, unfortunately, because, of course, the Hall of Fame already has a whole bunch of people in it, and it's very sad. So, nothing else really is happening right now. We're just waiting on the world to change a little bit, except we are casting Dispel, and we are dispelling. We are trying to dispel Maelstrom with 100 Astral Pearls. That's not as powerful a dispel as I could throw. Could throw a stronger one, but I think 100 might do it, especially cast by an Astral 5 mage. So we'll see if that works, and if it does, then we can replace Maelstrom with something else. Probably I'd just throw up Stellar Focus right off the bat, with a pretty hefty overcast, just to occupy the slot until I need it. And then I would next kick down either Well of Misery or Earthblood Deepwell in order to occupy them with another booster of my own as well. Because I would like to cast Maelstrom, but of course that requires me to go up Evocation. We're going up Blood first. Gotta grab Pedosian, and then we'll see what we can see. So, that's turn 78. And I guess I'll see you all in turn 79. I think that's all the news there is for this turn. Rating Satis a little bit there. That might provoke a response from him, but that's fine. I don't really care. Fomoric is actually casting Create Vessel, so we're creating another Hollow Knight. And in fact, we're going to do that up here as well. We're going to create 2 more Hollow Knights, which we will give Skulls, and send out to follow our armies around, gain some experience that way. Should level them up to level 1 or 2 pretty quickly, and then we'll try to get them up to level 3 where they can start doing the job Simaru is doing, where he's just walking around raiding the hell out of people. Talion over here is going to start summoning Ice Drakes. Actually, no, he's not. He's just going to research. We're not going to summon Ice Drakes yet. We want to save our Water Gems in order to cast Maelstrom ourselves once we kick it down off of Sea of Woe. We drop the Astral Window there. This would be a lovely throne to take. I'm not sure I necessarily have the oomph to take it right now, since they do have the, Bathusma, the Queen of the Deeps, and the Queen of the Deeps can spam a lot of water elementals and has a lot of water elementals to spam. So in order to take that, what we'd have to do would be first commit a whole bunch of water elementals, of water gems, to forging a whole bunch of, you know what I mean. Forging a whole bunch of Rings of Water Breathing, or actually, I guess we could cast Sea King's Court again and attack with like 3 or 4 Sea Kings. That could work. Yeah, let's I don't have enough magic gems for that. Damn it, I'm at 53. Alright, well, let's alchemize a little bit. Get up to around 60 water gems. Let's get another Sea King's Court. Boom. That will give me another Sea King, and then you can forge me another water bracelet. That will let me push that other Sea King up to water 4. And then, yeah, I think I may be able to storm this fort. It has wall integrity 400. And I'll be able to take all my Kidnids down there. They only have strength 9, so their siege strength is only 0.8. But Sea Trolls have strength 22, so they have about 5 siege strength each. So this army has pretty significant siege strength. Zarkomond can actually just research. That does sort of negate the purpose of me building this lab down there, but what the hell, he'll just research for a little bit. And we can, yeah, we can move some troops down there. We can also pop a couple rings of water breathing on some of our other mages and bring them down with us if we like. But we don't necessarily need to right away, because he won't be able to attack me with much. He'll be able to attack me with his Queens of Elemental Water. Down here, also, I'm casting Divine Name. I was asking about this on Discord, because I'm not actually sure whether that works on non-mindless units. I'm hoping it does. I'm casting it on the Queen of Storms. If it doesn't, oh well, it's not a huge loss. But I'm going to try to Divine Name her. This Lore Master needs to get... Actually, I need to do the Lore Master first, because I need to slap a Ringer for General. He's not that important. He's only 3 random paths, and he's old. So yeah, we'll get the Lord Hierophant. I don't think the Lord Hierophant is healing because he's not a commander. So, well, here, I'll tell you what. Let's try to cast Divine Name. It says, yes, okay, so we can inscribe the name on the forehead of a willing target, making him a commander. Yes, great. So let's Divine Name the Lord Hierophant so that he will heal. Then he can heal the Lore Master, and then we can do the Queen of Storms next round, which will be fantastic, because she's really good. And like I said, we'll take those 2 forts, and I think we'll be done for this turn. After we take Anor Londo, Bugsy Seagull will turn his attention to wishing. He has a Starshine Skullcap and a Ring of Sorcery. He'll need to forge a Ring of Wizardry as well, which will give him Astral 9, and then he'll be able to cast Wish. And by casting Wish, we will open up the infinite combo with the Arcane Nexus. So, thanks for watching. See y'all in turn 79. Should be exciting. Alright, turn 79. We've hit Blood Magic level 6, about to hit level 7. We cast Sea King's Court. We Divine Named that Lord Hierophant, so now we have an Error 3 Holy 3 Mage, which is pretty great. We don't actually need Foin anymore. I shouldn't have empowered him. Much like I decided not to empower Alethis, I do also have, of course... where'd he go? Where'd my Wraith Lord go? I got a Wraith Lord over here. What up? I got a Wraith Lord. Hope Void. Hope Void the Wraith Lord. When I give Hope Void a Ring of Sorcery, I can use him, or Ring of Wizardry rather, I could then use him to craft a Skullface, and then he'll be able to cast Well of Misery at Conjuration 8. Which will happen fairly shortly. This turn, we dispelled Maelstrom, so that's gone, and we captured both of the fortresses that Anor Londo held. The Fortress of Morn, Anor Londo had already gone AI. These battles were not terribly eventful. They did have, in this one, basically we enslaved some people, we killed some people with mental blasts, lost a bunch of Hallownest Lancers to the King of Banefires and various air spells, but overall went just fine. We ended up capturing a Black Knight, a Crossbowman. Actually, we ended up capturing 3 Black Knights, a Wyvern, and a Crossbowman. And that was it. And then in Anor Londo, we captured a couple human archers, a couple light infantry, and beyond that, we just wiped everyone out, including the Demi-Lich, their god. And I don't think we actually cast Master Enslave in this battle. It doesn't seem like we did. I think we just cast regular Enslave. But Ashen One, the Demi-Lich, who was wearing a Cat's Eye Amulet and a Skull Mentor, funnily enough, was defeated here. Oh, no, we did. We cast Time Stop. So we Time Stopped. And, I think, did Bugsy Seagull then cast Master Enslave? What is Bugsy Seagull preparing to cast? Yes, he did cast Master Enslave. Interesting. I didn't think he would have wasted it on this few troops. So you can see motion still happens, it's just slow. But as you can see, the master and slave went off just before the time stop expired, captured a couple of people, and then we wiped out the Demi-Lich by landing on him with Dragwall the Soul Warrior, who hit him with the Frostbrand and vaporized him. Worked out just fine. It was a waste of gems, but, you know, who cares. We do have Misfortune and Death going on. In High Mill, we gained a whole bunch of money and a couple of gems, and we promoted a Hollow Knight in Morn. That was... it wasn't Ilvitus. Ilvitus isn't yet promoted. I think it was Robodan here. Ilvitus is actually going to give one of those to Robodan, since he doesn't have one. So there we go. And now Robodan is ready to go out and raid by his lonesome. So we're going to set him to Personal Luck, Body, Ethereal, and then just spam Skeletons. That's the most effective way to solo raid. And stuck on cast spells. Once they get up to this point, their stats are decent, except that Robodan is crippled, which lowers all of his stats very dramatically. Hopefully he'll die at some point and that will come off. But for now, we'll just launch him over there. Padro should also... Padro is actually going to level in just a couple of turns, just 3 turns at this rate. I'd like to get him into a battle to speed that up. Hey, Padro. Yeah, you. Padro, where are you? Where are you, Padro? There you are. I don't need Skeletal Body, and I don't need Advance and Spells. I just need Horde of Skeletons. Now, Satis is raiding with hordes of skeletons, like a lot of hordes of skeletons. So that'll be an interesting thing to deal with. All of these are forts. Of course, one is quite heavily garrisoned, as is Archytas. If we look at the battle in Archytas here, this was Satis attacking Anor Londo. And this army is actually quite a bit bigger than 7. They've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 Marshmasters, and a Lamia Queen. And they're all just skeleton spamming. Just spamming out those skeletons. It looks like they actually did lose a few Marshmasters to arrows, which is sort of hilarious, and the Lamia Queen retreated. I guess they might have lost Marshmasters, because the Silver Knights kind of held the skeletons off at the gates for a little while. Yeah, look at that. Wow, they didn't bother to cast any defensive spells of any kind. Oof. That is painful. That was a serious mistake on Satis's part. Like, yeah, he lost 9 Marshmasters capturing this fort. Really should have cast some sort of defensive spell, like Mass Protection, or something. Or just Barkskin on each of them to ward off those arrows, because, oof, there was no need to lose 9 Marshmasters there. Could maybe have set them further back as well, I'm not entirely sure. It says this Lord Hierophant got 131 kills, which I think he did by Holy 3 banishing. Sort of hilarious. But it wasn't enough, so yeah, he's doing a lot of raiding that way. In Paleme, more raiding with a High Priestess, and in Witch's Copse, another significant army is attacking a fortress. Now, I could mass teleport attack that stack with all of my Soul Twisters. I could do that. I could set that up. It wouldn't be too bad. It wouldn't be too hard, even. But overall, I'm just going to put my slave matrices back in storage. That's a crystal matrix. Yeah, you can keep that for now, Lano. Who else has a slave matrix? That's a slave matrix. Yeah, put that back in storage. Anyway, I could teleport attack, but at the moment, I don't feel like that's necessarily the most valuable thing to do. I am going to take all these Silver Knights and Black Knights, and I think I'm going to mix them with my my Ether Warriors, my surviving ones, of which there aren't actually all that many, to be honest, about 20. And I think I'll use them as a raiding force. Because I can cast, Decimus can cast Power of the Spheres and Will of the Fates. Just give him 12 Astral Pearls. So he can give them all luck very easily. And I can also give him these lions. Set them on hold and fire. They'll be behind the hold and attack duders. And actually, can I set these in line? I cannot. Okay, that's fine. So that's actually a small but fairly potent army. And what I can do is I can use this army to draw the enemy out and then teleport out. So, okay, so here's the thing. Satis cannot, at this point, effectively move anywhere that isn't a fort. Because if he does, I can teleport onto that force and wipe it out. And enslave it, specifically. If I can because I can set up a teleporting super communion that casts Master and Slave round 1 like 3 or 4 times. Sort of hilarious. I can definitely do it. I'm just going to start forging slave matrices on repeat. I could use more hammers. Who has a hammer and isn't using it? Amrod is forging a Ring of Water Breathing on repeat, which I don't... Yeah, I might arguably need that. I'm building up water forces to go down and take the Sea of Woe. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it because these troops are going to move in there. I need more water casters than this. I need more than 2 Sea Kings. So I'm forging Rings of Water Breathing so I can send down more Water 2 mages and have them all cast water elementals. Domar here can just research, I guess. Actually, no, Domar can take these guys. Domar and Swanoth can both move up that way. Swanoth has a skull, so he's gaining experience, so he should promote pretty quickly to level 1. I've taken this province from Satis. I'll just... I mean, this is just Marrow PD, so it's actually barely worth having. If these Shark Tribe want to come after me, they absolutely can. Shark Tribe are some of the stronger independent indies. I might as well put, like, 6 province defense in here just to ward off events. And you can now fall back to there. We're just researching with our Sea Kings for right now. They are generating a couple extra water gems per turn. They won't pay for themselves in any short amount of time, but it will help build up my water income. And of course, there is now a global enchantment slot open, which I can fill if I want to. Bugsy Seagull is forging a Ring of Wizardry right now. He will put that Ring of Wizardry on and begin wishing. Actually, he doesn't need that. That's not a booster, that's a spell focus. He can start wishing right now. Oh, shit. No, yes, he can. Yeah, he can wish right now. Alright, we're gonna do it. We are starting the churn. We're gonna wish for gems. So, when he wishes for gems, I will get 25 of each kind of gem. And then, of course, I will spend them on things, and that will push up. That will feed the Arcane Nexus, so I'll get a bunch of those back. And so the net cost will end up being, you know, very little. Quellen is also moving out to raid. I am moving into, now, finally, what Haerdalas originally predicted the late game of Hallownest would be, which is raiding with Hollow Knights and Soul Warriors. Because, of course, Soul Warriors are really good at that as well. We're going to take those Boots of Quickness off that guy. He doesn't need them. I have, who else? Regic, or Regic, as the case may be. Regic could use what? Actually, I could give him gear, but I'm not going to. Regic is just going to hit up there. And he already has his combat script, I believe. Yulok can hit over there with his combat script. Actually, I guess he could hit here. I'm not entirely sure. Yulok can just hit over here, so we can have both of them. Body Ethereal, Astral Shield. He doesn't need to resist magic. They can just Body Ethereal, Astral Shield, and attack rear. Actually, they should also cast Personal Luck. There we go. And then they can jump to the back. This scout can move up into enemy territory. Now, the real question here will be... Actually, because see, here's the thing. I want to go in on Satis, yes. But, at the same time... Well, no, I don't really. I don't really want to go in on Satis. Because the thing is, right? If I go in on Satis, that will distract him from Lothric. And what I want is I want Satis and Lothric to fight. Like, this is definitely a case where let's you and him fight is super, super applicable. Because if I can just drag this out a little bit longer, I'll win. Just on the strength of having the infinite gem cycle active. So I'm not going to go in on Satis. I'm just gonna... Like, if anyone, actually, the person that makes most sense for me to attack right now is Man. And knocking down Earthblood Deepwell would actually make a lot of sense as well. But we'll get there. I'm forging another Ring of Sorcery. Casting Wish. With a Ring of Sorcery, I can boost a Soul Twister up to Native Astral 7. And either Empower twice or... What? I think it's only 3 Astral boosters you can carry. So yeah, I'll have to Empower twice in order to get them up to Astral 9 to cast Wish. But for right now, Bugsy Seagull can just wish for gems. And I think I'll be able to do that every round. And then just start spending gems on summons or whatever. I'll probably try to throw up Well of Misery myself. Since I have, what's his damage here? Hope Void. And, yeah, as soon as he hits Astral 8, he'll be able to do that. I'll hit Blood Magic level 7 this turn, and everybody's researching, so my research is really high this turn. and that will also push me halfway to Conjuration level 8, so 2 turns from now I'll hit Conjuration level 8. I will, I think, immediately be able to cast Well of Misery, so between now and then I need to dispel Well of Misery from Lothric, and then put it back up myself. And that, I think, will be the signal for the end game, the real end game to begin. The end game where it's Hallownest and their mind control tricks versus the world. I don't know if Lothric is going to would actually disengage from Sitis to fight me. I think they might. Like, it would be reasonable for them to do so. I also need to give this guy a skull. I've got Fomoric here, who is a perfectly functional raider and caster. And I mean, one thing that I have going for me is that I can spend Astral Pearls to summon Astral 2 mages who I can then use as communion slaves. I mean, leaving aside everything else that they do, they are perfectly functional communion slaves. So I can do that. So yeah, I think I'll move this guy down. I'll move Fomoric down. I don't actually need to raid anything with him right now, so we can just research, or he can cast a spell. He can summon Mound Fiends. I could start summoning tons and tons of undead. Or he could imbue Soul Warriors. I don't know what I want him to do. Actually, I'm not sure that I want him to spend any gems. Just research. We're just going to build up our death gems so we can cast Well of Misery with a fuckload of death gems and succeed that way. And yeah, I'm going to, just going to monopolize every gem if I possibly can. Because my death gems will kick well over 100 this coming turn. I'll forge the Skullface. And then I'll, should be able to cast Well of Misery right after that, I think. So everybody just research for now. We don't really have anything going on. Y'all can move out. And, Kimaru's max leveled and he has Heroic Toughness. So he's fine, don't need to go anywhere. There's a Well of Pestilence there too. Sweet, it diseases people. I love it. You can just move back to the fort, and that'll be the turn. So, thanks for watching. I'll see y'all in turn 80. Wow, this game's gone late. Alright, folks, turn 80. I'm gonna be real, this game is starting to drag on me. It's just gone on so long. Arcane Nexus was dispelled this turn. This, I'm almost certain, was Sitis. There's no one else who would have done this, really. We've hit Blood Magic level 7. Bugsy Seagull cast Wish for gems. Unfortunately, because I wish that I had not done that on the turn when Arcane Nexus was dispelled. What I've done is I've just alchemized pretty much all my gems to recast Arcane Nexus because it's super worth it. Like, that last Arcane Nexus stayed up for, I think, almost 20 turns, and in that time gave me probably 1,000 gems. So I'm overcasting it even more than I did previously. So taking it down once again will be a huge undertaking. Like I said, only Sitis really has the gem income to potentially do that. So pretty sure I can just kind of let that be what it is. We are storming out with raiders to raid these 2 forts and kind of block them up temporarily. Sitis at the moment still definitely on my radar as a dangerous threat, but not sure whether he or Lothric is really the worst right at this time. We do have a pretty significant defensive force in Sea of Woe, as I predicted. We also have the Shark Tribe came back down to raid away the province that I took from them, just in case he tries to start some shit. I'm moving these guys down here. They're going to cast Water Power. Yeah, Water Power. And then, we'll drop a Living Water. Now, the risk here, the danger here, is that these guys might, if he jumps all of these troops out along with these troops, my Sea Kings might actually be killed. Just because I'm sure he has a whole bunch of water gems. Actually, he may not have a ton of water gems, because he did just cast Maelstrom again. I'll have some troop superiority. Well, we'll have comparable troops, actually. If he brings out the Queen of the Deeps and casts a whole bunch of water elementals at me, I'll lose. I do have 11 province defensive Ictiids in here, as well as 39 other Ictiids, and that in the Hungry Sea is only 30 Shark Tribe Tritons. They can probably mow through that many Ictiids, though, so a little bit unfortunate about it. We do have Swanoth here, carrying his skull, happily prancing around with his skull. And we've got... Yeah, so Bugsy Seagull recasting Arcane Nexus. It's a damn good thing I decided not to teleport over here and try to attack that army, because that would have been bad. Decimus has a whole bunch of pearls that he's holding on to right now. I'm actually going to I'm actually going to take pearls away. I'm actually going to take gems away from people real quick. Because I have a whole bunch of gems floating around out there. And I'm going to alchemize them as well to cast Arcane Nexus even harder. So we're going to alchemize... actually, it's, I guess, just 20 extra pearls. But yeah, we're going to cast Arcane Nexus with every pearl we have available. Just because we want it to stick around for a little while. That will still require, I mean, you could still get rid of that with a Dispel of... It would merely be a ridiculously overpowered Dispel as opposed to like an impossibly overpowered Dispel. But, you know, it'll help. We're still blood hunting. Over there. Building up, we're almost to the total blood slave numbers that we need to get Pedosian. And we need to forge Pedosian some gear. We will need to forge him a lead shield, definitely. We will also need to forge him some kind of armor. Not sure exactly what kind. I'm actually strongly considering Hydra Skin, because Hydra Skin will give him even more regeneration. And Prot isn't his worst problem. He will want... He can't wear shoes, if I recall Pedosian correctly, but a Ring of Regeneration he could wear. He's definitely going to want an Amulet of Anti-Magic, and then some kind of AoE weapon. And we basically just want to kit him out to be nearly unkillable. And we may, in fact, use him against Sea of Woe in the near future here. So we're going to lock those two down. Beyond that, we're just recasting Arcane Nexus, basically. We're going to keep that up as much as we possibly can. Maelstrom has been recast by Satis as well. We're going to start knocking other people's globals down as much as we can. And should be fun. So that's pretty much all that's happening this turn. I could, if I wanted, jump an army in to try and crack Andoria or Nenhaboa, because I actually have quite a lot of flyers here. And I have some flying commanders. Like, Varric here has 140 leadership. I don't know... Why does Varric have 140 leadership? He has... Oh, because he has 2 stars of experience. Duh. Okay, unfortunately he's crippled, so his map move sucks, so we can't actually use him. So, let me see here. Varric, take all those guys, give them to Wasson. Give those guys to Sibrigol. Like that. Yep, like that. 62. Yep, have some more. We got some more somewhere. Give me some more! I don't think we have any more. Okay. So I think that's only 172, but 172 is actually enough to crack this fort in 1 turn. They do have 1 Wraithlord inside. 1 Wraithlord could potentially hold off an infinite number of these guys. In order to kill a Wraithlord, we would need magic weapons. A Moonblade might do. But there's probably a Wraithlord hiding in there as well. Basically, you need mages and thugs and stuff in order to take out Wraithlords. We do have Fomoric, the Hollow Knight. So we could, potentially, send Fomoric in to deal with the Wraithlord. I think I have some people wearing quick shoes that don't actually need them. Who here has quick shoes? Hope Void, you have a Ring of Sorcery. Yes, so Hope Void is up to death level 5, so he can actually forge a Skullface, which will push him up to death 6, and he can then cast Well of Misery if and when we get up to that point. He doesn't really need to be death 6 for any other reason. And actually, I'll tell you what, that's a Ring of Sorcery as well. We haven't forged a Ring of Wizardry. But we can. So I'll tell you what, we're actually going to hold off on the Skullface because we might not need it. We might just be able to give him 2 rings and have him cast the spell, and that would be fine. We're not really using him in combat because he's important as our highest level death mage. Look, so what we've got here is we've got 3 Hollow Knights attacking this province, just spamming skeletons at the province defense. We've got 2 Hollow Knights attacking this province. They are wearing quick shoes because that's the only way they can get there in time. And we will also send Yulok to reinforce that. So Yulok will be back here in front of them. Body, Ethereal, Astral Shield, Personal Luck, Attack, Rear. They're just going Body, Ethereal, Astral Shield, and then Quellan is Twisting Fate and going Ethereal. So like I said, against province defense, they'll wipe them out. If they're patrolling with their mages, I will lose these forces. But they're Hollow Knights, so I'll just get them back because they're immortal. Unless they are Soul Slain. That's true. Satis can soul slay them. Yeah, the point of Hollow Knights being mindless was that that actually made them immune to the only way to permanently remove immortals, which was to enslave them. Now that Soul Slay kills immortals, that's not as good protection as it used to be, which is an interesting change. It makes Hollow Knights actually quite a bit weaker. Hollow Knights specifically. Like, the change didn't change immortals in general all that much because there were no mindless immortals. It changes Hollow Knights specifically actually quite a bit, because it opens up the possibility of permanent death, which they didn't have before. Before this, it was actually impossible to permanently kill Hollow Knights, which is interesting. I'm actually going to alchemize. No, I'm not. Tell you what, instead of moving troops down here, I'm just going to research with these guys for another turn. Where am I spending gold? I'll just kick the province defense up to unreasonable levels. Like, if I kick the province defense up high enough and they move in those guys, they'll get killed. I have a couple of Hallownest Devout that I've been recruiting here that I want to... Actually, it's more than a couple, it's 4. I want them to preach to ensure that my Dominion stays down here so that people don't get terrible, terrible diseases. Fomeric should be wearing what? He's not poison resistant. He has 22 hit points because he's level 3. So a Ring of Regeneration wouldn't be bad for him. With that, and he has Magic Resistance 20, so he doesn't really need a whole lot more MR buff. A Starshine Skullcap would give him some extra MR, but just for avoiding Soul Vortex, that would be fine. What I think I'm going to do is Wasson and Sibragol are going to hit... there. Fomoric will move up. And yeah, with the Moonblade and the Ring of Regeneration, I think Fomoric can probably kill a Wraith Lord so long as he can get around the skeletons. To get around the skeletons, he'll need flying shoes. Anyway, also I have Aela and Nejdigo. Aela is, of course, a okay super combatant chassis. No natural protection and relatively low hit points, but we can solve those problems. We will definitely be giving her... She doesn't really need a Storm Spool. I need to forge gear for her. I'm starting to get to the point where I just need to forge a whole bunch of gear, which I have actually not been doing. My gems have been going to other things. But I need to forge her, at the very least, some armor. She is poison and shock resistant, which is great. She's not fire resistant, and fire would kind of fuck her up. But we can get fire resistant effectively just by forging, like, armor. Because fire is merely armor piercing instead of armor negating, for some reason. And do I have any hammers? You're forging a slave matrix, you're forging a crystal coin. Actually, stop that. Stop forging that crystal coin. And we can give... where'd that... yeah, we can give that hammer to you. Great. And what else am I forging up here? I'm forging a slave matrix. Stop that. Okay, that frees up a few more pearls to throw into the overcast. Look, we're casting Arcane Nexus with everything. Just literally everything. It's worth it. If we cast Arcane Nexus with 400 pearls, it will still pay itself back as long as the game goes 8 turns. And the game is definitely going to go 8 turns. This game is going the distance. No one is even close to winning yet. So, yeah, it's worth casting Arcane Nexus with literally every pearl that we have. And arguably, it would be worth alchemizing all of the remainder of our Death and Earth gems to do it too. But I'm gonna use those to forge some shit. So, we can also forge... What else could she use besides armor? She will need a helmet. A pair of bracers of protection wouldn't be terrible, but I think those slots have to be used for other things. Can't forge any MR gear just now. Dragon can just move. He built a temple there. We're up to 14 temples, so we have a lot of Dominion spread chances. Even so, our Dominion is actually not spreading quickly. Nom has built more temples and has more territory and is working very, very hard to force us into trouble. Let's Astral Window Satis real quick. And you can research, sir. And you can preach, and you can preach. Okay, I think that's the turn. Pop these troops down, just to make a showing of it. These troops, we've got some more flying commanders. Who has the troops up here? I think someone's patrolling with a bunch of troops. No, I have actually no troops here. Okay. Interesting. Let's cut these guys down some and start recruiting some here to patrol with, because they are really good patrollers, and I could use some anti-scout protection, I think. Italian, just put that back in there. Put that thing back where it came from, or so help me. I've also got a whole bunch of crossbows here, which I've given to Idro, and we'll give him some flyers as well. Gabrusius can't yet finish up. This lore master is still diseased, which is... Come on, man. You're the healer. There's, like, nobody else here with afflictions, so heal him, please. So Gabrusius is just waiting for us to get some pearls back. Idro is going to hop over... Why is he heading over? Oh, that's right, because he has crossbows. He's going to move up north with his Blabo crossbows. Varath has a disease and is dying, which is no bueno. But he's not going to die this turn. I could slap a Ring of Regeneration on him, actually, since I guess Fomoric isn't technically using it right now. And Fomoric is just chilling out for a turn anyway. So let's slap a Ring of Regeneration on Varath to keep him from dying. And we'll deal with it in a little bit here. So, that's the turn. Just doing some raiding, re-throwing up Arcane Nexus. And we'll see how things go. I just want... what I'm worried about is that the war between Satis and Lothric seems to be grinding to a halt. And I don't want them to... Actually, Satis seems to be pushing back. And I really don't want the balance there to tip irreparably. What I want is for them to continue fighting for at least another 8 or 10 turns while I get the Infinite Gem Trainer rolling. And I don't know if that's going to happen if I don't intervene against Satis at this point, because I think Satis is slowly beginning to take the upper hand. Simultaneously, I have to keep an eye on Man, because Man is absolutely just looking for an opportunity to come after somebody. And that somebody is probably me. So, we'll see how we go. It should be an interesting next 10 turns or so. Yeah, I still have no idea how this game is going to end. And honestly, if the game goes on another 12 turns or so, I'm actually going to suggest to everybody that we call it a draw, just because I like late game Dominions to an extent, but I don't like really late game Dominions, and especially, I don't know, once games get overplayed, and especially once the Cataclysm starts, it encourages a lot of turtling and not a lot of aggression, and, it's so bad. I mean, I'm actually the person who could potentially, like, attack thrones under Cataclysm because I can fly and teleport a lot, so I can kind of move from fort to fort. But even so. And there's always the chance of a Doom Horror just randomly dropping on whatever army is attacking whatever throne and eating a ton of your troops and mages if you're not prepared for it. So it's just, it gets ugly. In any case, thanks for watching. I'll see you in turn 81.